welcome back to my channel. Today I'm filming a kind of a declutter video. I started off filming this as one big video, but that video ended up being like 30 minutes long, and I was so tired of talking by the end of that I didn't even think anyone else would want to watch that video. So I decided to do a two-parter. Basically, I'm doing a palette declutter, so face palettes and eye palettes. What I did was I went through all my palettes and I found ones that I was kind of not showing enough love to that I think I'm ready to part with and get rid of, and so I'm going to show you those today in this video, and then I will have another video with all the palettes I'm keeping, just all the palettes that are currently in my collection, and we'll go through those ones and I'll show you my favorites. I'll show you limited edition palettes that I have and just kind of show you my current palette collection. So I hope you enjoy this video and keep watching. Okay, so the first palette I'm getting rid of is this e.l.f. Prism eyeshadow palette. Actually, I think this is going in the maybe pile, but I just don't use this anymore. It's a really good eyeshadow palette, but I just feel like somebody that'll love it more should have it. It comes with 6 really pretty shimmery eyeshadow shades, and it has a mirror, and it's nice and compact, so this is really great for travel. The only thing about this is you can't really use this palette on its own because it's all glitter shadows, so to do a full eye look you would need to have another palette. I was really attracted to this really beautiful gold shade. They swatch really amazing. The pigmentation on these shadows is really beautiful, so if you haven't checked out this palette yet and you're looking for a good drugstore palette, I would recommend picking this one up. Okay, the next palette I didn't end up liking so much is this Buxom palette. This is actually really new to my collection, so I'm kind of sad that I'm getting rid of this, but it's really not getting enough use in my collection, so I think somebody else might love it a little more. This came out this holiday season in a little set, and so it was really nice because I got to try out the Buxom eyeliner. It also came with a mascara, and then this palette. The really cool thing about the Buxom shadows is they are customizable, so you can actually buy individual pans or you can buy pre-made palettes. The cool thing is that they sell them individually, and so you can custom make your own palette. This actually comes out like this, and all these eyeshadow pans will actually break apart and separate. So it's really cool. It's a really cool concept. Not a lot of people are doing this in like stores like Sephora and stuff. Not a lot of the big eyeshadow and makeup brands are doing something like this. So I think it's really cool because they have pre-made palettes and they have the loose shadows that you can combine. It's a $40 palette. I was really attracted to these shades because I think they're really fall-esque, but honestly this like green shade, look at how beautiful this is. It was just too dark on my skin. It just looked like I had a black eye. These two colors are so gorgeous. There's also this really nice duochrome shade. It's like a white with a purple blue shift. So these colors are really pigmented and buttery. It's just that I don't love this enough to keep it, and I think somebody else might get more use out of it, so this is getting passed on. And then I have the Balms Meet Matte Nude palette. This was also a recent purchase. I picked this up on Hope Look. By the way, if you haven't checked out Hope Look yet, it's a great place to get makeup at a discounted price. A lot of brands go on there. Lorac, Kevyn Aucoin, The Balm is on there all the time. Just a lot of really familiar makeup brands. So I waited because I knew they come on there periodically. I waited to pick this up because their Balm products are always half off, and they always have the most recent stuff on there. So I was really excited to try this out because I'm pretty new to the Balm brand, and I really like their luminizers, so I wanted to pick up an eyeshadow and see what the hype is about. These eyeshadows are really beautiful. They're all matte, of course, as the name would allude, and they just came out with Meet Matte Matrimony, which is like a more cool tone palette of this same, so it was part 2 of this series. And so I was really excited when I got this because I was like, ooh, this matte rosin would be a really great crease color for me. And yeah, I just thought these were really nice chocolatey shades. The only thing is that once I got them, I just realized like they just are not as like creamy as I would want them to be, and then like all the colors pretty much end up looking the same on my lid. So I was really disappointed, and like this yellow shade, it's like, what am I going to do with that? And like this gray, the Matt Johnson, like it's just not my cup of tea. So I figured that since I haven't used this very much, I would pass this on so that somebody could love it more than I do. This was a well-loved palette in my collection. I've had this one forever. This was probably one of the first high-end palettes I ever picked up, and any of you that are OG YouTubers or Kat Von D fans will recognize this. This is the Esperanza palette. Total like packaging, like golds right here, like so cute. Even like, I don't even like skulls, but this like candy skull is so beautiful. It's such a perfect summer palette, and I think that's when this palette came out. It was in the summer, so it is pretty well loved, but again, just not something I gravitate towards as much anymore. And then I like dropped it, and as you can see the eyeshadows kind of dried out, so they kind of cracked a little bit. So I really don't want to hold on to this. I think somebody else might be able to love it more. I was a really big fan of this shade right here. I think it's called Dog Roses. This one's called Placebo. This was actually a really gorgeous color in the crease for my skin tone, which is kind of unbelievable because it's like this really almost neon-y pink shade. This color, Centaurea, is a beautiful glitter shade, and this mint color, of course, attracted me to this palette. And then this beautiful purple that's kind of broken right now has some duochrome glitter going on. So really beautiful palette. It's just that I do not give this enough love, so I am passing this one on as well. Okay, the next ones, this is really disappointing. I'm sure anyone that's watching this right now that's a Lorac fan is like waving their finger at me going, what's wrong with you? But I swear these just don't get used as much as I thought they would. Starting off with the Lorac Pro To Go palette. I kind of picked this up when the Pro palette had come out, but it was sold out everywhere, and so I was in crisis. So like dramatic of me. I was like, I need a pro palette, and I need a pro palette now. And so this one was sitting at Ulta, and I was like, okay, I'll get this one to tie me over until they restock the pro palette. And so I thought it was a great idea. I mean, this is a really cute palette. You don't see a lot of these types of palettes, kind of just like the essentials. So it's got two beautiful blushes, a bronzer, and then a row of mattes and a row of shimmery eyeshadows. And it's a really great palette to travel with because it has everything you need to kind of get by on a trip. It's just that I am so over the Lorac formula for the eyeshadows. They're so dusty, like it's hard to see in this particular palette, but if you've ever played with a pro palette or tried to like do a look with it, you will have so much fallout. Like it's ridiculous how much fallout comes from these shadows. So these were well loved in my collection. It's just kind of one of those things where I just fell out of love with it, you know, and there's so much product left in these that I would hate to just keep holding on to them when I feel like somebody else can find better use for this palette. So this one is gonna be going away. Next one is also a Lorac palette. This is the Lorac Gold palette. I was obsessed with this palette when I got it. I actually got it this time last year. It's a beautiful palette. It's got amazing gold shades. I mean, this is like right up my alley. Again, it's just a formula. I mean, look at how much I just like rub my finger in it and all of this product just crumbles off. And it's, I mean, I can't deal with that. I used to deal with it, but now I'm just so over it because there's so much eyeshadow out there that does the job without this much fuss and hassle. And I just don't have time to put eyeshadow on and then clean up my under eye and then put, you know, foundation on. There's a lot of eyeshadows out there that you don't have to do that with. So as much as I love these palettes, they're all going to go to new homes. The other two, of course, I'm sure if you ever watch YouTube, you would have seen these. They were quite the hit back a few years ago. These are the Lorac Pro palettes. This is the Pro 1 palette, and this is the Pro 2. So I was really excited when I got these. They're pretty well loved in my collection. I even hit pan on one of these colors, but I just don't use them enough, and I feel like somebody else can get more use out of them. I just don't have time for this formula anymore, and they're really beautiful, and I'm super tempted to keep them, but I think somebody else could use these and create some beautiful looks. The next palette is one of my oldest palettes. Again, this is the Naked palette by Urban Decay. This is the first one, and this is actually the only one I have. But as you can see, this palette is well loved. And yeah, I mean, there's some serious dents in this. That's pretty exciting stuff. Of course, you can't tell how many eyeshadow palettes I actually own because you're only seeing the ones I'm getting rid of. But the fact that I've made this much like headway into these is pretty impressive. So this palette I'm getting rid of just because it's old. You know, everything has an expiry date, and so does eyeshadow. You can't just keep it forever and ever and ever. It does go bad, and of course I don't want to get like any kind of eye disease, so I am gonna stop using this. Not because I don't like the product. The Naked eyeshadow palettes are amazing, probably the best ones on the market for, you know, getting like a neutral eyeshadow set, and they're super pigmented and really beautiful, and they just came out with the Naked Smoky, and they're always like, you know, thinking of innovative new versions of the palette. This is just the only one I own. I did try the Naked 3. I didn't like it, and then the Naked 2 and the Naked 1 are so similar that I didn't feel like I needed both. And then I didn't get the Naked Smoky palette because I'm not that big into smoky eyes, and I feel like I have enough eyeshadow to get that job done anyway. But this palette is a gem, and I would totally recommend it. Again, the reason I'm getting rid of it is because it's old, not because I don't like the formula. Next palette was another Hope Look purchase. Now this is a BH Cosmetics palette. This is the Professional Blush 10 color blush palette. And I never tried BH Cosmetics. I'd heard so many people talk about it in college that I finally broke down and decided to pick this up. Again, nothing wrong with this palette. It's beautiful. There's a variety of colors, relatively inexpensive. I just wanted to try out the brand, and I think that I, you know, got a really good sample of what their products are like by using this palette. I just think somebody that has, you know, a smaller collection that can give this more love does deserve this palette, so I am passing this along. Okay, then this is another BH Cosmetics palette that I'm getting rid of. This is a 26 color palette, neutral eyeshadow and blush. Kind of a cool concept. Again, it has some eyeshadow shades and some corresponding blush shades, which is really nice because if you're like, I'm kind of low maintenance and I don't want 400 eyeshadow palettes and blush palettes, this is kind of something that you might be interested in. It has some great like color variety as far as the blushes go, so you got a really light shade, a really dark shade, and then the same for eyeshadows. So again, really pretty decent palette, pretty decent pigmentation. It's just that I don't need to hold on to things that I don't, you know, use often, and I just want to pass this on. But it is a beautiful palette, and BH Cosmetic palettes are very affordable, so check them out. Okay, I'm almost done. This one was my first ever Morphe palette. Again, a lot of hype with Morphe on YouTube. I actually feel like I know more about the brand now than I did when I picked this one up. I was just kind of lost, and I figured, hey, let's pick up the, you know, insane color Morphe palette. This is the 35C. Now I also have the 35O. I actually have a review of it on my channel. It's kind of funny. I think C stands for color, and clearly I got a boatload of it. It's just that, you know, this is not my scene. I probably dipped into this palette like a few times, and then I don't wear these every day, so I feel like somebody that loves to play with color and experiment might really enjoy this palette. Again, it was relatively inexpensive. I just don't want to hold on to it because I don't make enough use out of it, and somebody else will have so much fun with this palette because I think it'll allow you to get really creative. These colors are just so vibrant and beautiful. So that is the Morphe 35C palette, and it is going to a new home. And last but certainly not the least is this Makeup Forever Artist Box, I think is what it's called. I picked this up on sale at the end of last year. And yeah, I don't know, gosh, these colors do not look so great on camera, but Basically, everyone and their grandpa talks about Makeup Forever eyeshadows, and I used to have the, you know, those little like Artiste palettes that they release. I had the first one, which is that completely neutral palette, and I used it last year when I got engaged because we did a photo shoot, and I was like saving that palette because I was like, oh my god, these eyeshadows are going to change my life. So I was going to like hold on to it and save it for like a special occasion. So when I got engaged and we did this photo shoot, I was like, oh my god, let's break out the Makeup Forever shadows. They're supposed to be amazing. And I like played with them and tried to put them on my eyes, and I was like, this sucks. Like, this bronzy shade, you can't even see, like, I can't even see in the mirror. And these are supposed to be like amazingly pigmented eyeshadows. So I ended up returning it, and then people just kept hyping up Makeup Forever shadows. So I was like, maybe I just didn't know what I was doing. So I picked this one up because it was a relatively inexpensive way to try some of these shadows, because these babies, the full-size ones, are expensive. Like 3 eyeshadows are like 40 bucks. Like, ain't nobody got time for that. So yeah, I picked this up, and no, nothing has changed. I mean, they're so pigmented when you swatch them. It's like, why doesn't that translate on to my eyelids? Like, you know, it's just disappointing. And then the colors that I would wear every day really don't show up like as vibrantly as these two are. So then it's like, I'm not gonna wear blue eyeshadow every day, you know? I mean, it's beautiful, but it's not gonna happen. So I'm gonna get rid of this, even though I feel like these colors are really beautiful when they swatch. They just don't look the same or as vibrant in person. So I'm just gonna get rid of this one and pass it on to somebody that's gonna love them and treat them well. And yeah, so that's my last eyeshadow palette that I am getting rid of. Okay guys, and that is it for my first ever declutter video. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave me a comment below if you have tried any of these palettes and if you still have them in your collection. And let me know what your favorite eyeshadow palettes are, because I'm always looking for the next best thing. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and give this video a like if you enjoyed it. And don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends so that we can grow my channel. Thank you for your time, and we'll see you soon. Bye!